Dr. Collier, good morning.
Good morning, Rickey, Smiley. Happy Friday. We made it another week despite the Delta variant coronavirus pandemic. So we got some good news, Rickey, about the Johnson & Johnson shot. For those who did the one and done, a booster shot of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine dramatically raised the levels of antibodies against the coronavirus, the company reported on Wednesday. So the Johnson & Johnson vaccine was absent from the government's initial booster plan that we talked about last week. But the new data, the company hopes to be a part of the initial distribution of additional shots, which could happen as early as September. The strategy is to give the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 booster 8 months or longer after the primary single-dose vaccine was given. Rickey, a clinical trial carried out last fall and winter showed that a single shot had a 72% efficacy in preventing symptomatic COVID-19 amongst those in the trial. Johnson & Johnson carried out its clinical trial before the Delta variant became widespread, leaving open the question of how well the vaccine would work against the highly contagious form of the virus. But in studies released early this month, researchers found that a single shot of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine was up to 95% effective against death from the Delta variant and reduced the risk of hospitalization by 71%. So in a new study, Johnson & Johnson tracked those that had been vaccinated for 6 months, and their level of antibodies had not changed. That's different from the pattern seen with Moderna and the Pfizer, who's initially produced higher levels of antibodies, but those levels dropped over several months. And I told you, the Moderna dropped from 95 to 85%. The Pfizer dropped from 95% down to less than 50%. So that's where we are with that. This is good news for those who were concerned about the J&J shot and whether they should get a booster or not. That increase, Rickey, is 9 times higher in their antibody count. So if they did an antibody test and the antibody count was 1,000, it's 9,000. That's actually good for the J&J.
Dr. Collier, real quick, if you got 2 shots of Moderna, you want to go and get that J&J or whatever as a booster shot, just where you can feel comfortable, can you?
If I got 2 shots of Moderna, I don't think you need any other booster shot. The Moderna is still hanging in there and is doing a great job. So I'm not even recommending that those have gotten the Moderna get a booster. If you gotten the Pfizer, get a booster as soon as your 8-month window opens up. And if you got the J&J, definitely get the booster because that's going to really, really show. Because remember, the J&J is an adenovirus vaccine compared to the mRNA vaccines, which was the 2-dose variant. And the adenovirus seems to give longer immunity over time. It was less in the beginning, but particularly with that booster shot, that I'm actually going to jump on board with the J&J and say that's a good booster to get and that you should do that. Right now, we're not crossing over. Remember, there was some question about that, some concern. If you got the J&J, should you get another mRNA booster?
Right.
But now I think getting a J&J booster would be good.
You on with Dr. Collier? Good morning.
Okay, so my question is, my son and I both had COVID back in December 2020. How likely is it that we would get it again?
Okay, you definitely have a natural immunity that is shown to be very protective. But if you have not gotten the vaccine, likelihood of you catching the Delta variant would be higher than if you had not gotten the vaccine. So I recommend that you still get the vaccine to boost your immunity, but your chances of getting are less than someone who have not gotten and resolved the infection. So you're at higher risk, but not as great a risk.
All right, y'all, Dr. Collier, good morning.
Why don't they give the same medicine that they give Abbott and ex-President Trump to regular people?
It is available for regular people, and people are getting it. That is the immune cocktail. That's where you get a transfusion of antibodies, and that's the only acute therapy that is available. So that is available, but people need to go in and ask for it if they're not being offered it. It is readily available in most hospitals and a part of their protocol now. I think that, Jesse Jackson has received that and a few other famous people, but a lot of regular people are getting it. I have patients that have gone to get the infusions. They even have places where you can drive up and get the infusions with long lines being shown on television. So it's available. Just go out there and look for it. If you're acutely infected and you test positive, you can get the antibody infusions.
All right, Dr. Collier, real quick disclaimer.
Okay, these are the opinions of Dr. M.J. Collier, not those of Mr. Rickey Smiley, the Rickey Smiley Morning Show cast or its production crew. Reach me on all social media at ASK Dr. MJ.